Bhakti Studio is a place where we try to preserve Vedic culture and Bhakti practice, um, and we try to help people by sharing those practices in hope that it can improve their personal lives. And the Vedic culture is so rich and has been around for thousands of years. So what it offers is a lot to the world, and we're very grateful to be able to share that here. And you all are familiar with yoga and the benefits of yoga, I'm presuming. Yoga, in the physical sense, allows us to align our body. It gives us the physical fitness and the ability to calm our minds. But beyond that, yoga is also aligning with our soul and our true sense of self. Here at Bhakti Studio, we help people align with their soul through the process of Bhakti Yoga. And one of the main practices in this sort of heritage of Bhakti Yoga is the practice of Kirtan, which is mantra meditation. And today we have prepared this musical mantra meditation for you to immerse yourself in and to really connect with your deeper self. Sound has the ability to penetrate and the ability for us all to connect with each other and feel a really pure and deep sense of emotion. And so even the entire universe, they say, started with the Big Bang, which is a loud noise. So sound and sound vibrations permeate through everything and really help us connect with our true self. So today we will be having Kirtan, and we will have the words for you to follow. We'll chant them a couple of times so that you can get familiar with it before we get started. But I hope everybody's excited for today. How are we doing? Good? Okay. So the first mantra we are going to be singing today is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And we will say the words together once. I will say it and then you can repeat after me so that we can get comfortable with it, and then we can get started. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once more, all together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How do we feel with that? So the recommendation, Kirtan is a call and response format. So the recommendation is that and then when it's your turn to sing, you pour your heart out into that. There's no judgment. It's not about whether you can sing, but it's really connecting to the mantra that's important. So I encourage you all to try to do that. Hare Krishna, Krishna We will have a talk by my father. He will introduce himself.
Hello everyone. Did anyone attend any prior sessions from me? Some of you. How many of you are new to today's session? Yeah. Alright. So just a little background about myself. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business that I run. And you saw my two kids, Mridanga was my son and singing by Shrishta. And then my wife couldn't join today, but and then we do Bhakti Yoga. So that's how our life is filled with. In fact, Bhakti Yoga is the undercurrent that defines how we lead our life. So, what is this based on? You know, some of you, if you have attended my prior sessions, we talked about we live in a world where there are some forces, very subtle forces that control us. How many of you have heard of this? You've heard. So scientists haven't been able to discover what those forces are. Definitely they're not the standard scientific forces. We're talking about very, very subtle forces that actually control our thoughts, our mind, our actions. And these forces operate on us through our body, through our mind, and also influencing our intelligence. We think that reading through the books, we're able to overcome these forces. Unfortunately not. And in fact, these forces are so subtle that where we hang out with, what we eat, what we see, everything subtly influences us. So, these forces are influencing us through our body and our mind and our intelligence. So, who is that we? Who's that we? So, the question is, who are we? So, most of the times we don't think about it because in my 16 plus years of education, never was there a question about who are you. Right now, if I ask, in fact, I have to introduce myself, right? Who am I? I give the name Shax as a short way. But is that me? So if I were to ask, who are you? How would you describe? So let's give some attributes of who you are. Whatever you're comfortable with sharing. You are a person.
Hopefully a person most of the time. That's about it.
Very good. Actually, you're coming pretty close to it. You are a person. But does that person have any other identification to say that that's you?
Good question. It should be, because we're all different.
Exactly. So this is a very difficult question actually. You know, the whole world, we're all trying to work on equality. So, but just by looking at this room, I look different from everybody else here. Physically. For sure. But also thoughts wise, even two siblings don't think alike. Definitely no two couples think alike. We all know that. For the most part. So, where is that equality we're trying to work towards? Like on what basis? There are some theories that say that all our blood is red color, so we should be thinking the same blood is, fueling all of us the same color. But then again, there are, different, what do they call it? The blood groups, they're different. So, on what basis can we create equality? So this is what we're going to talk today. And this is where we're going to spend time looking at the Vedic wisdom. Actually, knowing which, you will see the whole thing differently. It's a paradigm shift. Not something, some of you may have been exposed, but some of you, it may be new for the first time you're hearing about it. And don't think that this is just another theory. If you think it is just another theory, you will not take the benefit of it. Try to see from the lens that they are describing. Try to see yourself differently, at least today. So let's go through a few. So there is a car and there is a driver. Are we the car? Well, if the car gets a dent, who gets hurt? Particularly if it's a brand new car. So we are not physically hurt. I'm talking about a dent, not a big accident. Just a small dent, that to a door ding. But it hurts us. And that's the same state we are in right now. But we know we're not a car. If the car gets totaled, we'll get some insurance money and then we'll buy another car. So we are not the car, but we relate to the car very deeply. In fact, if the President of the United States is going on a parade, almost nobody can see the President of the United States, but you will see that he's traveling that beast. As soon as you see the beast, and then they say it's Air Force One, inside the President is going. Nobody has potentially seen the President. But that particular car is defining the person that is actually traveling in it. And that's exactly how we right now refer to ourselves. So, we're not the car, we are the driver. So if the car breaks down, then initially there is pain, but then eventually we get to react, no, I should not be so worried about this. Okay, we'll buy another car. So we have to get to the same realization about our body. That's what the journey we're going to go through. But right now we're so deeply engrossed with this body being us. So, first and foremost, the Vedic wisdom is telling you is that accept that you are not this body. How do I accept that we are not this body? Well, let's go through. Which body are we talking about? The first very tiny body that we had was that sperm that was going into the womb of the mother. That was carrying our first, that was in fact our first body. And then eventually the body starts, when the egg and the sperm fertilize, then the body starts taking shape. Well, if it is the human womb, it will look like this. If it is a dog, it looks different. If it is cat, it looks different. So, even within the human life, 20 years ago, I looked completely differently. And 30 years ago, I looked different. Definitely 40 years ago, I looked very different. Now I'm close to 50 now. So, we know in another 10 years from now, I will look different. So, which body are we talking about? So, but at the same time, do you think it is me? It is the same person, right? I mean, if I take, all of you can go back to your old pictures I'm sure you have. Just put like pictures like this. Would you say they're all you or not? But scientifically also, every 7 years, there is not even a single cell in our body that stays, which means like it regenerates into something else. So, where is that identity of us, that experience of us staying? So, we are somehow changing the bodies. In fact, you can Google this one if you want. Every second, millions of cells in our body, blood cells, all kinds of cells, are changing. So that means if I say I am the same, I'm not. From a physical perspective, before I complete the sentence, I'm changed. So I'm a new person. Every second I'm a new person, physically. But I'm still the same. So there is somewhere that identity is being maintained. Hmm? So this is the wisdom. The wisdom is saying, this is Krishna telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, those of you who know the context of how this knowledge was revealed. As the embodied soul, that is, there is a soul in this body and it is kind of wrapped around by this body along with my mind and the subtle aspects to it. Okay, just visualize all of this, even though it's a theoretical right now. And as we change from each phase of our life, the body is changing. But that one identity that is being held in this one is the same. And that is who we are. How many of you will accept this right away? We'll do another quick way to, there are some other data points. And the position of this particular identity is in the heart region. We'll do this experiment. I mean, we did we meet before? No, right? So if you have to say, your good name please? Sriya. So if you have to point at yourself and then tell your name, would you say Shriya? Would you say Shriya? Would you say, where would you point your hand? Point. If you go to Africa and ask the people, point differently? A small child, person, everybody points here only. Why? Because there's somebody that is taking the direction and pointing to themselves. That's us. This is very significant because that's how we can practically relate to the wisdom that was already given. So that soul of the Atma in the heart region. It's not the heart. It's in a different dimension altogether that we cannot through normal senses. It's like, what is the temperature in this room right now? 70s. If I give you a measuring tape and ask you to measure the temperature, will you be able to do it? It's a measuring tape too. But it's because the temperature is in a different dimension. The tool that I gave you doesn't have the ability to measure in that dimension. In the same way, right now, we are not able to measure the reality or the experience that reality because we are using a different measurement. That measurement that we are using is our senses. Because we're only using the senses. And where are the senses pointing to? Always upward. Right now, how many of you know that our blood is flowing at such a rapid pace within our heart? Does anybody feel that there is, even if a small ant walks here, I can almost guess its speed. But right now, there is no perception that there is blood flowing at such a rapid pace within our heart, or within our body. So the senses are all outward. And because these senses do not perceive what is inside, we are saying that we don't know who we are. And all the wisdom that is being said seems like maybe may not be true. But it's the same as analogy that I gave you. Like so far we are using the measuring tape and we're never able to get to the temperature of this room. So let's take another Practical example. So what does this picture represent? Just visually, it's pretty obvious, thanks to AI. So on the left side, it's a dead body representation. On the right side, there is, almost representation of a life, a body with life. So there's some body that is animated, and there is a perception that is happening in that body, right? So almost all of us have probably had some family member, maybe grandfather, grandmother, somebody, or maybe even if you're too young, then great grandmother, whatever. Somebody may have passed in our lives, passed away in our lives. They're no longer there. So we say that same standard sentence like they passed away. Or in Hindi, means like is no more. In different languages, it's the same thing. Something is gone. We're referring to somebody is gone. But physically, the body would be there, right? So something is gone. So that is actual perception also. Everybody says it, and everybody feels it. That the person, even though the dead body is there, we're not saying that, hey, this is my grandfather anymore. My grandfather is gone. My father is gone, whatever. So there is a difference between both these bodies, even though technically they look similar, just before and after the stage. So there is something called the consciousness. A simple, very crude analogy is, I may have the latest iPhone 18. I don't know if you already, is it 17? I'm one step ahead. So 17. But imagine your battery is dead. How good is that phone? So that's exactly the case. So there is some energy, the battery in this case. It's a very crude example, it's not the same because our soul is much more than that. But it is that feeds the whole system. It comes alive the moment the soul is there. You can also see, as soon as the soul enters the body, it is said that the body starts accumulating, forming. And then it goes through 6 stages. Growth, from the beginning to the growth, to maintenance, to reproduction, then decay and death. Yes.
So when we pass our soul, do we choose the body or Krishna choose the body for us?
Karmana daivanetrena janturdeho upapadyate means you are choosing in one way, Krishna is choosing in another way. I'll tell you why. Krishna has defined the rules. It's like traffic rules. You and I don't get to change every day. The rules have been set. On this road, you can only go at 35 miles per hour. On the freeway, you can go at 60 miles per hour. Like that. The rules are set. However, I can choose not to go on that road. I can choose to go at 40 miles per hour on a 35 miles per road. Yes? So I'm still choosing how I want to drive. But the consequences of my actions are already defined. So what that means is that we do actions, and those actions have reactions. And those reactions, we are bound to be facing them. So the reactions to the actions, that equation has been defined by Krishna. But we still have a choice of whether we want to do that action, whether that action should follow the rule or not. Right? Does it make sense? So, in a way, we are in control, but when we are not in awareness, we are not in control. And that's the whole purpose of understanding this wisdom and getting to a point where we can lead our life consciously. Parking lot sometimes, you're in a hurry. You're not supposed to park in handicapped parking. But you're in such a hurry, you're like willing to take some risk. It happens sometimes. You park and go. You get a ticket. Yeah, you're in a hurry. You have every reason to justify saying that why you did what you did. But is the consequence there or not? So you still had a choice to do it that way. So that's why we are in this, am I consciously making the choice or I'm not making the choice consciously? So that's where all our life gets entangled. So coming back to this point, so what disappears at death? Because the body is still there. So that's the soul. So the consciousness is the symptom of the soul. It's like, how do we know that there is electricity in this house right now? There's lights going on, air conditioning going on. Every day we're not going and touching the wire and saying, oh, electricity is there. We're not doing that. So we are taking the symptom because it's like cause and effect. Because of that existence of the electricity, we are able to see the light. So we don't need to go every day, put a tester or touch the wire or whatever. None of those things we have to do. We turn on the light switch and then see, okay. In the same way, we see that the body has consciousness. That means we are alive. That means there is soul in this body still. So, if that is our true, real identity, we're not this body. So from today onwards, don't think of yourself as the body. Absolutely, we're not that. This is the reality. So, what is the journey of that soul is what we should think about. Because this body will definitely go to the grave. Guaranteed. It's a matter of time. So don't worry, you have to worry about the body to some extent because you're encaged in this body. It's like, a bird cage. Yeah, you have to clean the cage also from time to time and keep it nice. But if you forget the bird and will only keep the bird cage really clean every day, what will happen to the bird after some time? So what is the real asset in that bird cage? It's the bird. So we have to start caring for our true self, not the exterior self. So from now onwards, these are temporary identities. Because it's the context in which we give these identities because others can only see that part. I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm this, I'm that, I work this way, or I'm an entrepreneur, as I introduced myself. That's because that's the only way others perceive. But we should operate ourselves with a different consciousness. So that soul, you go anywhere in the world, why is everybody trying to be happy? Is there anybody that says, I want to be unhappy?
There's some Tibetan monks that say, may I have just enough suffering to awaken.
So there also, the goal is to be happy because so that they can awaken to be happy.
Right. But
There-
not necessarily to be happy.
Yeah, so there's also a very good point, by the way. Even in our prayers, in our Vedic knowledge, there is a great lady by name Kunti. Some of you may have studied it. In her prayers, She can't, begs for pain, she begs for suffering, she begs for problems, so that she can always remember the Lord, because the Lord has always been there whenever they were in problems. They were able to pursue the Lord, they were able to get the help of the Lord. So as a result, yes, with that consciousness, yes, you can seek pain so that you are not put yourself into ignorance, because this temporary happiness actually is an illusion. So the people who are learned actually ask for pain rather than pleasure, because this temporary pleasure distracts you from your goal. But once you reach that state, you are actually fully blissful. That's why everybody is trying to experience that state. So just like we look at the shirt and we don't automatically think that, okay, every time let's say I see the same shirt, your name, sir? Ethan. Tomorrow by chance your brother or somebody wears the same shirt, I'm not going to call Ethan, I met you yesterday, do you remember? Right? You are different from the shirt. But in the same way, we are not the same as this body. So that's what we have to understand. So this is the illusion of misidentification. The moment we identify ourselves with the body, means like we don't think about other reality, that hey, I'm the soul, I'm not this body. Identification means you're believing that is truth. You're operating, see, we're actually delusional. The word illusion is, see, first there is a rope, and then suddenly I think it is a snake. That is illusion. If I consider maybe in the darkness, I suddenly saw a rope, and then I suddenly thought it is snake. So the first state of confusion is illusion, that from snake rope, I considered it to be snake. But if I operate based on that, now I get a stick and then I'm trying to hit it, and now I'm delusional. So in a way, we are all delusional in our leading our lives, because we are thinking we are this body. This whole life we have been operating with that basis. And that's why we're never happy. So this is again a practical way to also connect with the same point, why we are not this body. So you can see, like, this is my head, this is my hand, this is my heart, this is my shoulders, these are my legs. I mean, everything I'm saying, these are my, I mean, where is I? Where is the mind? Right? And there is nothing, one thing that I say, like, the only possible indication is saying this is me. In a broad way, I say, like, this is me. So, as soon as we understand I'm not this body, then we have to accept that there is another identity of ours, and that's the spirit, the soul. And that's when our spiritual journey actually begins. So it is said in Bhagavad Gita that we change shirts, right? Yesterday, while coming here, I changed my shirt. And that's the truth, because, the word vasansi jinani yada vihaya means once the shirt is torn or like it's soiled or whatever, it's no longer ready for you to use until maybe the next wash, or maybe you need to even change the shirt, buy a new shirt. So just like we change our clothes, the soul also moves from body to body when the body is no longer capable of holding this soul. Clear? So who's moving from body to body? It's us only. It is us who are moving from this body to another body. It's not like something from this body is moving there. That something is us. So that is the new realization we have to keep in our head. So the journey of the soul, because that is eternal, that's the true identity. And that soul has to go transmigrate from one body to another body until we burn our karma. But how do we know when we can stop? Because if you are in ignorance, you're always burning, you're creating karma. And that's why we need education. So, as a person puts on new garments and gives up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies. But what is the next body it operates? Again, depends on our choices right now. Every second, every choice we are making right now, is defining our next body. So what we do right now has a consequence. On our eternal journey, and that is the true wisdom that you will not get in universities, education, nowhere. And that's why this wisdom has been eternally true. We are reading the same truth that has been revealed millions and millions and since the beginning, basically, which is time immemorial. Of course, 5,000 years ago, it was documented as Bhagavad Gita. Krishna came and revealed. But he said himself, oh, you know what, this wisdom has been lost. I first gave to sun god. First of all, we might think that, sun god, that's an illusion. It's the same illusion that we were trying to get out of. In this body, we have all these hands and everything. But in the sun body, the sun has fire as his element. But it's also body. So, the souls are everywhere. It's an illusion to think that there is no life elsewhere. It's just that we cannot see the bodies that are there. There are many, many gross elements and there are very many subtle elements. And from here, we can only see the gross elements through our eyes. So right now, are there waves going on here? How do we know? Because our phones are operating. This camera, the streaming, everything is happening. But are we able to see it? Does it mean like I'm wrong or I'm right? That depends on our education. A small child might say, oh, there is nothing. Until the child is educated on the facts. You and I haven't seen those waves, but we accepted the wisdom based on the symptoms. It's the same way we have to accept this wisdom also based on the proof of the symptoms. So until we do not shed this concept of body consciousness, we are bound like this picture on the right. And it's like anchoring ropes after ropes. This will be a relationship with our friends, our spouses, our children, our ideas, our concepts, our desires, everything. Like we're like entangling ourselves with all these things. But we're not that. So if we realize our true self and don't get bogged down by the it's like our true identity is eternal, but it's like, most of us work in corporate worlds. Do you operate for the long term success of the company or the short-term success of the company? Yes, you have to take care of a little bit of short-term, but the ultimate goal of any work that you do is long-term success. In the same way, we have to think about what are we doing for the true position of ours. So that, again, the Shastra is revealing that until we understand that we came from the same supreme source, it's like a gold mine. Gold mine has enormous amount of gold. We are that one particle of the gold. Is this also the same gold as the gold mine? Yes. It has the same characteristics. So until we break this illusion, and that's the whole Maya, the word Maya, illusion. It's a very simple equation if you think about it. One is truth. If you don't accept the truth, it's false. Simple. So the moment you reject the truth that you are the spirit soul and then that you are part of the spiritual supreme source and you belong that dimension, you are on this side. And that's it. Then you are eternally in this cycle. Yes.
So in the beginning, you mentioned about that force, is that Maya?
Yeah, exactly. And that force that is operating on us, the three subtle forces, but that's why if you know the Indian pictures, it's Durga, who's the representation of that force, the controller of all this Maya. And she has this trident. What are the three things? This actually, she is putting us through these three forces. There are multiple definitions of these three. There is the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Then there is the forces. She puts us through our own miseries through our mind and body. It's called Adhyatmika Klesha. Then it's the miseries caused by other living entities. That is Adi Bhautika. Then there is miseries caused by the natural calamities that are coming in collective fashion, like COVID, tsunami, wildfire, earthquake, our unrest in the entire country, all kinds of things that are caused, natural calamities. So these three forces operate on us all the time, as long as we are in that body consciousness. Yes, those are the forces that operate on us. And those forces operate on us, they are very surgically designed. It's the most complex algorithm. You can't run away from it, even if you know it. The only way to get out of it is to do your duty right. Just by knowing, you will not get out of it. So, yes.
So you mentioned that we get trapped with relationships, so how does the untrapped work?
Yes. So your vision from now onwards changes to they're also not this body, they're also the souls. They're also the same children of the same God. I just happen to be a caretaker in this relationship for this lifetime. You don't own your children. You're like a trustee. You know what the definition of trustee means? A manager of a trust doesn't own the property. He's only taking care of it until the beneficiary gets it right. Understand?
So we are the trust.
We are the trustees. So we have children, we have responsibility to take care of them because their soul's journey is what we care about. We have to educate them that they are not the body, we have to get them out of this illusion. In fact, in the Shastra it is described, a king should not accept to be a king, a teacher should not accept to be a teacher, A spiritual master should not accept to be a spiritual master. A parent should not become a parent if you are not taking the responsibility to liberate the citizens under your authority. So that means the king has the responsibility for the whole kingdom, where they should understand we're not this God. The teacher should educate the students. Parents, as parents, we have responsibility to educate our children. If not, then we're already doing wrong. That karma will come back to us. Does that answer the question? So what is the process to discover our true self? Actually, it's very simple. We already did a little bit of that. It's like you have, I'm sure some of you are rich here. You may have 10 million in your bank. But there is a simple password to access that. Yes? Because you have 10 million, do you have something else that is securing your account? It's still the same password, right?
They got two-step verification now.
Yeah, maybe 2 names. Rama and Krishna. We got 3 names here. Hare, Krishna, Rama. There are 3 protectors here. But essentially what I'm saying is that it's a password. Whether you have $1 billion or not, it's still a simple password. So, in a way, the total wealth can be accessed with just those 3 or whatever password. Yes or no? So, is that password, once you get to that, it's like a lottery ticket, let's say. If you have that number, it's the same as you have the money. Because it's a consequence of having that number, you will get the money. So it's the same way here, is that in the spiritual dimension, there is non-difference between that name that is being revealed to us, because it's the secret, the code that has been revealed as the way to access the other dimension. Okay? It seems very simple. It's very, I need something more complicated, but no, it's very simple. And that's why we are chanting this mantra. It's very simple. And what it is doing eventually is awakening our true identification, true realization of our identification. Will it happen overnight? Some people it may, because it depends. Because again, remember, our soul's journey is eternal. We may have come to this particular point, all the souls in this room. We may have come through different journeys and then we have come here. Some souls have already made a lot of progress. The moment they hear this wisdom, Krishna, I needed to hear that, they stick to the path. Some souls are not ready yet. They hear one time, good class. And then we go back, do the same thing. Come back again maybe. Good class. Go back. But every time we are doing that, we are increasing our bank balance, our progress. Because Krishna is saying that any progress in this path is not lost. Can anybody here, if you have $1 billion in this life, at the end of this lifetime, okay, can you guarantee what you will be born in the next lifetime with? Anybody? There's no guarantee. But Krishna is guaranteeing here, saying that even a small progress in this path is not lost. And that, again, if Krishna revealed the body, so he is giving the principles of the spiritual dimension. We have to accept the full wisdom. progress we make, even if it is not perfection, we're going to continue. So in the next lifetime, we're going to start exactly where we left off and then continue. And that is the reason why we see a lot of people, some people born in rich families, some people born already, like, what is the purpose, who's defining, to your question, who's defining the rules for why that soul is born to that particular couple? It's based on the journey of that particular soul, what it deserves, the rules set by Krishna, Karmana, Daiva Netrena, means under the vision of the Lord, purview of the Lord, that particular soul is being planted into that particular body. Because so that it can continue from where it left off. That doesn't mean like only at the time of birth, whatever is they said, is that said, oh, I'm lost. We have choices to make at every step. Like right now, we have choices to make. What do we do with this wisdom? We can think. In fact, Krishna says, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. That is, there are thousands of people, hardly one endeavors for perfection. But of the people that endeavor for perfection, of many, many thousands of people, hardly one really knows the truth. Okay, now that we are hearing the truth, do we want to be in that 1 in a million? Are we, at what point do we going to get filtered? That's a choice. There is no judgment here. It's in your individual soul's choice. There's nothing like right or wrong. You could choose whatever you want. That's the reason why at the end of Bhagavad Gita, after spending so much time, Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, did you hear everything that I said very attentively? He asked this question. Did you hear attentively? Now, deliberate on this fully and do as you wish. Yatechasi tatha kuru. He didn't force. He's the Supreme Lord. So we all have free will. But don't think that it's a limited rope free will. We don't have unlimited free will. So we have a choice to make. We have to make the choice wisely. Now I just wanted to kind of go through who we truly are. Knowing this, I don't know how much time we have. Somebody?
A few more minutes.
Few more minutes. I'll try to that. So, but knowing this, we should all be happy. We are not what we are thinking we are. First and foremost, we are eternal, indestructible. People can kill our body, but they won't kill us. We'll move on. The wrinkles that we see on our face, that's only on our body. The soul doesn't have any wrinkles. It's eternal. Nobody can harm us. The soul is not, harmful with any of the weapons. And that one soul, it's a very tiny entity, but then it's all pervading our entire body. So that if we take the eternal nature, we can perceive the everything. It's invisible, inconceivable. Only through these explanations you can comprehend, but it is not what we think it is. And it is immutable. That means it is eternally in the same state. And it is eternally a servant of the Supreme. So the moment we realize this state, that state is called Brahma Bhuta state. Right now, our state is Jiva Bhuta state, means like this bodily consciousness. But the moment we realize that other state, it is said that when we realize this, automatically our anxiety, fear of death, fear of anything are gone. And it automatically brings us to a state of compassion. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati means I don't hanker for anything, I don't worry about anything, future or past. And Samah Sarveshu Bhuteshu means all living entities I'll see equally. Not just humans only. I'll see ants the same way, plants the same way, insects the same way, any living entity same way. Because at one point we were that. Because there is an eternal journey that is happening. And it gives a true higher meaning for our existence. And for such people, death is not fearful at all. In fact, death is an opportunity to achieve our true identity. So, it's going to be beautiful eventually if we lead our life with this consciousness. Just like this picture is depicting all happy state, we will reach our true and it's a eternal, there's no more temporary nature to that existence. So real happiness is reconnecting with the Supreme. And here is the realization Prabhupada says. We are not human beings having spiritual experience. That's what we have been trained to think. Oh, let's think about our spiritual nature. No, we are the spiritual beings having the human experience, so let's get back to our spiritual nature. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Was that helpful?
I like the last quote.
Yeah. But it's a shift in our understanding, it's a shift in our consciousness. See, what is consciousness? Consciousness is where our thought process is attached to. If our thought process is attached to only the well-being of this body, then we're in the bodily consciousness. But if your thought process is risen to the level of, oh, I'm the soul, and my relationship with Krishna is what matters. So if I'm thinking about that relationship and that my existence there, then I'm in spiritual consciousness. Then the rest of the choices will become easy, because then the rules are already given there. Oh, you want at this stage? Then do these things. Don't do these things. And there's no more resistance, because you know what you are doing. You're the ones making the choices. I mean, I'm making my choice. You should be making your choices. So there's no more, like somebody doesn't have to force us. Yeah, yes.
A bit off topic. So what is the reason behind chanting 60 rounds?
You know, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Manmana, in fact, there are multiple verses. One of them is like, Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaste. He says one thing. And then he also says, Ananyas kintayanto mam. These people, the devotees, they chant my names eternally. And then he specifically gives Arjuna this instruction before he's about to fight. He says, Tasmat, therefore, Arjuna, Sarveshu Kaleshu means at all times. You know, Sarveshu Kaleshu, always think of me and fight. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara. Anusmara means like thinking of your name. So always think of me and do your duty. So he said, do it all the time. And because of the lifestyle we lead, we're not able to do it all the time. And we're not in that state. We are in this runway called practice runway. To get to that state, we have to at least accept a little bit more stricter than once in a day name. So you have to, it's like a practice, right? Like if you're practicing for Olympics, is your coach going to say, okay, if you just do one lap, that's fine? No, right? It's going to push you to get to the perfection. So there's a practice. So that's what we're doing. So our acharyas, our gurus, who have understood that, you know what, if people can do this much, then they'll start developing that attachment to the spiritual principles. So that over time, you don't even need to tell like it's 16. 16 is the minimum, but we have to get to the state wherein it's almost like, I got this. Now I understood why I'm doing it, and I don't have any more resistance because I've trained myself to that path. Then after that, we will be, maybe if not now, when we reach 50, 60, 70, you have a natural attachment to that path and to the name. I'm sorry, it took a lot of time. Prabhu is like looking at me like,
Jasper might be looking at you. He's like, Kirtan.
okay, we'll continue with the Kirtan.
Hey guys, I'm Jasper. It's been about almost a year since I started your copy. It's taken me that long to work out the courage to leave here now. So, thank you.